horrifyingly mysterious lakes in the world. It might seem unlikely, but the world's many lakes are, in fact, some of the most unusual, unexplained, and deadly natural phenomena on the planet. From unheard of yet natural events to countless human disappearances, and even bodies of water which suddenly vanish and reappear again. Here is 5 of the most mysterious lakes out there, and welcome to Brain-Getty. Number 5. Dead Lake. The name of this one alone should be enough to tell you that this lake in Kazakhstan is far from your ordinary body of water, otherwise known as Lake Candy. This 1,300-foot-long lake near the southern city of Almaty is steeped in a long history of mystery, including human deaths, most of which were unlucky tourist drownings. The corpses, which lurk beneath its depths, aren't the only reason for its haunting name and reputation, though, as the waters are believed to be totally incapable of sustaining any life from small fish to frogs and other native amphibians. The water, which maintains its vibrant cobalt hue due to the copious limestone deposits and algae at its depths, remains cold even throughout the warmest of seasons and isn't known to evaporate at a normal rate. The lake isn't just a human graveyard either, because the earthquake, which created it in 1911, also submerged the nearby spruce forest in water, drowning the roots but preserving the existing trees, which now spout from all over the surface like ghostly ship masts. Number 4. Lake Tahoe. This lake in America, neighboring Nevada and California, might not look particularly threatening. In fact, it's a hugely popular place for holidaymakers to spend a summer's afternoon, but this lake hides some sinister secrets below its surface. For starters, Lake Tahoe is notorious for its own answer to the Loch Ness Monster, an elusive beast uniquely named Tassie, which reportedly stalks the waters here and has been sighted many times but never caught on camera. Duh. Tassie might not be the only reason people lost their lives here though, as it was supposedly also a popular dumping ground for mafia victims during the 1920s, a theory which was even featured in The Godfather Part 2. Bodies are well preserved in the near-freezing temperatures of the lake's deepest points and have been known to turn up years later in the neighboring Pyramid Lake, which is connected by an underwater tunnel system, such as the tragic discovery of a diver in 2011 who had gone missing for 17 years. French explorer Jacques Cousteau did a deep water dive in the lake back in the 1970s and returned to the surface, claiming that the world isn't ready for what was down there, so I guess we'll never know what really lurks beneath. Number 3. Lost Lake. The Lost Lake in Oregon, United States, has earned its unique name because it is quite literally impossible to locate during the summer months. What was a standard 85-acre, 9-foot-deep lake for half of the year completely vanishes periodically, leaving only a lush green meadow with no traces of its former watery bliss. At first, it might seem like the whole thing just evaporates, but that would take some serious heat. Instead, researchers have discovered that the secret behind this lake's mysterious disappearing act were 2 lava tubes which drain the lake as if pulling out a giant bath plug. Left in the wake of ancient volcanic flows, these holes continuously empty the lake of water, and in the warm season, when the nearby streams, which run into it, completely dry up, their draining power is actually enough to swallow up the lake entirely until the next rainy season. Number 2. Lake Nicaragua. What's so special about this lake besides it being the largest freshwater lake in Central America? It isn't any mysterious chemical qualities or unexplored depths which give it a place on this list, but rather its unusual inhabitants. And I'm not talking about another Nessie spinoff. Lake Nicaragua is actually the only lake in the world which is home to a native population of sharks, specifically bull sharks, alongside a whole host of other marine species like sawfish and tarpon. As it is so unusual for sharks to live comfortably in a freshwater environment like this one, scientists trying to get to the bottom of this shark-infested lake originally assumed that the species were introduced by humans, or were different species of sharks entirely. This is because, although only 12 miles from the Pacific Ocean at some points, the lake doesn't connect to its surrounding seawater. An experiment which tagged some of the bull sharks in Lake Nicaragua and later located those same sharks in the Caribbean Ocean eventually solved the mystery by revealing that the sharks were able to make the 120-mile trip through the nearby San Juan River to reach the lake instead. Number 1. Lake Berryessa. Lake Berryessa Reservoir, located 75 miles north of San Francisco, was a pretty unremarkable lake up until 2017, when a 72-foot wide hole seemingly opened up out of nowhere. Air dramatically sucking in the contents of the surrounding lake with surprising power. Word of this giant, unexplained potential sinkhole began to spread, and locals rushed to the side of the reservoir to look on in horror at this bizarre phenomenon. While many worried about the origins of this huge inverted fountain and what potential seismic activity below the surface could have caused it to open up, it turned out the hole is actually just a man-made glory hole designed to drain the reservoir and keep it from overflowing, while also acting as a spillway to the nearby dam. The reason behind its sudden appearance was actually a result of a huge amount of rainfall following a long 10-year period of drought, which had rendered the glory hole useless up until 2017. In fact, images which showed the lake during this long dry spell clearly show the huge hole. It just wasn't quite as noticeable until it was turned into a lake-guzzling vortex. Did you know that any of these mysterious lakes existed, and would you be willing to visit any of them in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.